What's good, everybody? Welcome to the Rook the Kid podcast. This is our 10th episode. We are in double digits now. I can't really believe that we are, but I'm Jared May the Rook, and I'm joined by
Hunter Poole the Kid.
All right. Well, what's up, everybody? We got some good stuff for you guys out there today. We had a really fun podcast in Trak 9. We got to talk a lot about the NFL Combine, the Dallas Cowboys draft, potential targets, and mock drafts. Then we ended up bringing up a special guest at the end of the podcast, Big T, and he had a grand entrance with the lightsaber, and we got to talk shop about Mandalorian in depth and possible theories, and it was a very, very fun portion of the podcast. So if you haven't checked that out, go check out the previous episode on YouTube. So today we're going to be talking about a bunch of different topics. We're going to kind of start with entertainment and end with NFL stuff. We've talked plenty of NFL, so if you want to catch that, we'll have content out once the YouTube is over. But we know most of you like to stick around for the first half and then did. But Morgan Wallen's album, One Thing at a Time, came out March 3rd. That was 5 days ago. So we had everybody probably has had enough time to catch up on all those 36 songs that he had. I know we sure have.
No shit.
We saw Creed 3 last Friday, and we really want to dive into that. That was a fantastic movie. So we're going to get in depth with that. We have a new updated ADP system for you guys as well. We'll have like a live kind of draft board for you guys so you can follow it easier. And we'll have a little pool of people to draft from. So we're going to do our top country artists of that later. References Black Friday NFL shopping season. Everybody's getting shipped, shopped, sold, bought, and traded at this time. So, and the NFL Combine, the owners, the GMs, the head coaches, everybody's shopping. And then finally, the one that me and Hunter are probably going to have really a lot of fun with is the JJ Redick news.
Oh, yeah.
We've debated together, not as a couple, but together we've debated about renaming the podcast Unscripted. We don't know yet, but we basically thrive off of being unscripted. So we're going to have a lot of fun doing that later in the podcast. But, yeah.
Yeah, no filter. I definitely have no filter. I say what I want to say, and I don't care how it makes you feel. Take it with a grain of salt. Takes one to know one.
Takes one to know one. Respect. Yeah, so, Hunter, you got some news, recent news you want to share with some people?
Yeah, guys, so I'm all about, as a person, bettering yourself, and I think everybody should try to do something like that. So for the month of March, I started the carnivore diet. No carbs, strictly protein-based, eggs, ground beef, fish, stuff like that. I'll be doing that for a month, trying to lean out a little bit. And not only that, I'm also going to be sober. So y'all know I like to drink beer on the podcast. So at least for the next month, you'll be catching me drinking some vinegar. Tastes good every time.
So it's 30 days, no carbs, no the alcohol thing is different. That's kind of your own personal preference, right?
Yeah, and beer and stuff like that has carbs, and then if I was to drink like a mixed drink, it has soda. Just kind of clean out my system. I've been doing it since Monday. The last carbs I had was Panda Express in North Montgomery.
That boy from North Montgomery.
Yeah, so I had a big old 2-plate, whatever it's called, Panda Express, tore it up. And from now, just going to see the results. I took a picture yesterday, looking to see the difference, lose some body fat, just kind of better my health. And, just trying to give motivation to others if they see the difference in me. Because if I can do it, person who likes to drink and kind of eat whatever he wants, kind of want to give that motivation to people who are watching or anybody who comes across it. So
I feel attacked.
I always tell you, man, if you want to better yourself, there's nothing wrong with, eating better, running. I stopped getting the running portion of it. I eventually started doing that. waiting to get paid so I could buy a new pair of running shoes, and then it's on from there. Broke at the moment. So.
Hopefully we get the lump sum.
And we finished. We no longer will work on the ranch, so now we'll have a lot more energy when we get on this podcast, and hopefully,
ain't that the damn truth? Yeah, we were exhausted the past 2 weeks. Yeah. Oh boy, yeah.
Thank you for letting me sprout, though. That's all I gotta say.
The 30-day gig with no alcohol. I initially said that I was like, yeah, I could probably do that too, because I don't really have the true desire to do all that stuff every weekend. But my brother's bachelor party's this weekend, so it's like, boom, that's out the window unless you want to be an absolute prude when I go with him. But yeah, that's a 3-day spree of just pure alcohol. So
you could always start right when you get back too.
That's right. Do a 22-day.
Get it all out of your system.
That's right.
You probably won't want to drink after that bachelor party.
Oh yeah, probably not. Yeah, I'll be like, I'm never drinking again, sort of gig. All right, well, let's get right into the Morgan Wallen album, one thing at a time. Gosh, bro, 36 songs. I'm gonna have them up on the board for us, but I thought it was pretty good. Somebody criticized it and said like, oh, like it was on TikTok, of course. Some user 9869or 41349812. He was saying, oh, look, Morgan Wallen came out with 36 of songs that sound the exact same. And my argument was, dude, it's a genre. They're all going to sound like country music. And then you got rap. It's like, oh, they're going to rap. Oh, shit. All 12 songs of the album, including the ones where there's features, it sounds like rap music. It just kind of was a stupid argument.
Yeah, this is kind of when you find like this thing that works and it don't fix it if it's not broken. That's what Morgan Wallen does. And he brings like the aspect of kind of, you can do like the slow country music, but then he does a little upbeat, kind of bringing a little funk to country music. But the lyrics, match what he's doing. And it's the album itself. It was a pretty good album. I don't think it was better than the Dangerous album, but that one just a little different.
That's tough to top.
Okay, so there's 36 songs, but he had already dropped 8?
Yeah. So yeah. Devil Don't.
Like
I'm sorry. I don't think Jesus. I wrote the book. You Prove. Stuff like that. Yeah.
Thought You Should Know.
Thought You Should Know, which is
Tennessee Fan.
Tennessee Fan. Reasons Why, or what's it called? Days That End and Why. Yeah.
What's your favorite song on this new album?
Okay, I'm gonna exclude the 8 that were already released. Number 1, I've definitely got Devil Don't Know. I think that one's solid. That's a really good kind of like a, not like heartbreak. It's like Morgan Wallen is really good at like the situationship. So the Devil Don't Know is a really good one, and it's like has a religious kind of faith background to it. Kind of like put that into country music lyrics. It always gets me rolling.
He seems like he has a lot of trouble with women from his hometown. I don't know. It's before he was famous, but I don't know what it is. He just always a story about what happened, and I like the music, so just keep making it.
Oh my gosh, yeah. What about you? What's your number 1?
Devil Don't Know. I like that one a lot. It's definitely in my top 3 or 4. My favorite would have to be Tennessee Numbers, track number 10.
Oh yeah. Track 10.
Yeah, no pun intended. But that was definitely, I don't know what it is. I think it has to be the B, and then I really like the chorus to it, and yeah, it's
there's a line in that song that really takes me back.
It takes you back to
you back to some dark times.
Well, it's I wish we could start singing some of these songs, but we both suck ass at singing, so we're not going to do that.
Yeah, there's that, and also we wish we could actually play the songs on here, but then there's copyright, so you actually can't freely play music anywhere.
Yeah, it's such bullshit. And then if it wouldn't be more. I bet you Morgan Wallen would not be the person to sue us. It'd probably be Interscope. They'd probably sue the hell out of us. It wouldn't be Morgan
I
Wallen.
know. We'll be like, cool. These people are
Yeah.
talking about my podcast, whatever. Like they're country music fans.
Morgan Wallen doesn't seem like the kind of person to be like, oh, these guys are on a StreamYard podcast talking about my album, playing my music. They're like, oh shit, it's good music. That's why I made it. Interscope's like, nope, we own it. Don't freaking use it. Here's a $2 million lawsuit for people who have about $5 total put together in their bank account. And we're like, a good talk.
And we're going to settle.
And then we're like, I'm going to plead no contest. And it's like, okay, yeah, pay a $40,000
Yeah, in court, we're like, Your Honor, this is all BS because you wasn't there.
Yeah. I was like, you don't even have any proof. Well, we have this. I deleted the video. Where's your freaking proof?
Right. Number 2, Me Plus All Your Reasons. That's a solid one. It's another kind of situationship kind of deal. It's great. It's a great little one. And then, gosh, number 3 is going to be difficult, but I'll let you go number 2 next.
Number 2, it would probably have to be, when I first heard it, I was like, Man Made a Bar, which I still like that song. And then I was kind of going through it, and then we talked about when we listened to it. I thought the song would be a lot better, and when I first heard it, I was like, okay, what? I kind of disappointed, but it's really grown on me. Is track number 14, Keith Whitley.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's that like Kentucky Bluebird, and I don't know. Just the way he's doing it, I don't know what it is. And I really like Keith Whitley, so I'm glad he dedicated kind of a song to it, sorta. But
yeah, he took some really cool lyrics and put it into that song, like Miami, Miami. Later in the song, we were both listening to it after a long day of working, and we were like, Keith Whitley, I bet that's a really good one. And we first listened to it, I think we had such high expectations. We were just like, man. And then we started listening to it more and more, and we're like, oh yeah, like this is actually a really good song.
Morgan Wallen's music too is one of those things where it grows on you because everybody listens to him. So like when you're like out and about, you'll be like, someone would probably be playing Morgan Wallen if they like country music. And you hear one of the songs, it's like you're having fun. You're like, wow, I really like this song now because, they're playing, like even like Tennessee Fan, like that grew on me.
Yeah.
Like when I first heard it, I was like, all right, whatever. It's like, eh. And then I don't remember what I was doing, but I was doing something and and her Tennessee Fan on in the background. And I was like, okay, yeah, I really like this song now. So,
yeah. No, yeah, you sing it now. Every time it comes on, you're like, "Hey, he's in Tennessee," and I'm like,
that shit is definitely stuck in my head every time I hear it.
Yeah. So, and then number 3, yeah, I like. Oh gosh. I was about to do Dying Man, track number 36, but I like Wine in the Water, track 21.
Oh yeah, that's a really good one.
That's a good one. Talk about that Napa Valley Vine Chardonnay. I'm like, ooh.
That Napa Flats.
Yeah, Napa Flats Vine Chardonnay. Yeah, that's a good lyric. Let's get to the bottom of these problems in the bottom of this bottle.
Yeah, my then number 3. Well, I thought we should mention. I think you feel the same way about it too. If we didn't hear this song before, it definitely would probably be number 1. Is like Thought You Should Know.
Yes. Yeah.
That's song
as soon as you hear that at the beginning of the song, you're like, oh yeah.
Hey, shout out to our moms. We got a couple Mama's boys.
Shout out to Mama.
A couple Mama's boys on this thing.
Mutter May.
Christy is mine. I don't know. We don't call
Christy's
her
my aunt.
Huh?
She's my aunt.
Anyway, it's her mother's name.
That's the medical guy's mom.
Cause my mom is also named Christy. Takes one to know one.
Takes one to know one. All right, sorry. Go ahead.
And I'm looking at the list now. It's funny. It has a star next to it. I guess it's one of his most popular songs on the album is number 25, Thinking About Me.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that one. That's a good one. I'll just leave it at that. I don't need to go into details, but just listen to it. I was like, yeah.
Yeah, that we have great. I like how both of ours kind of defer. We both went in kind of different directions, but like there are. Like I didn't know what to expect from '98 Braves, and we listened to it, and it honestly is probably one of my least favorite in the album. It might grow on me, I don't know, but like you said, like the songs he makes like grows on you. I didn't like Quitting Time from his Dangerous album for like 8-9 months.
That one's such a good one though.
I guess I never got to that. I thought it was always about like quitting, like getting off the job, like just and kind of like
it's on the very bottom. It's on the very bottom of that.
One.
Yeah, it's like the very last one, and it's already a big album. And unless you're have the album on repeat, or not repeat, but just shuffle, you're not gonna go all the way down to the bottom and be like, what's Quitting Time?
Yeah.
Like if you were down there, realistically, you were down there to go click on Heartless because that song was already dropped before the album.
Right. Yeah.
Like, okay, but
he had some pretty decent pop ones too. Kind of like I guess country pop where you can kind of go upbeat. Like I think 180 Lifestyle is one. What else?
Yeah, Shiner's about to be infested with Morgan Wallen's new album.
Yeah, Cowgirls with Ernest, which this one I had pretty high hopes for because him and Ernest kind of sound similar, except Ernest doesn't have that twang as much. But in both of their musics, you can sense like I don't know how to explain it, but the instruments they sound Tennessee, and then you like with Kojo when he plays, his instruments sound Texas. So like they got like that. I don't know if it's a steel guitar that has like that nice tone to it, like in Thought You Should Know. There's a lot of that as like the foundation of Morgan Wallen's songs, which I actually really like.
Yeah, you could definitely tell because Cody Johnson, a lot of his stuff he's playing on the guitar.
Yeah.
And he's playing guitar, singing. He definitely has like that Texas culture to it, 100%. And that's why we enjoy Cody Johnson too, because you got like that the Texas music. You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't from Tennessee.
He's from Texas.
Yeah,
I ain't from Tennessee. I ain't got that 865 number.
Where's he? Where's Cody Johnson from?
Huntsville. Yeah.
Ain't that a bitch?
I believe my brother actually served him at a restaurant in Huntsville. I've got the picture on my phone. It's got like he does his signature where he obviously does his signature at the bottom. I think there's like either a J or an H where he just takes the line all the way up to the top of the receipt. I was like, yeah, it's kind of strange, but it's different than others. So I was like, hey, man, if any famous guy is going to sign a receipt, like different than the others, might as well be somebody like Cody Johnson.
Did your brother say if he was like a unit or anything? I've always been kind of intrigued. He kind of looks like a small guy.
Country boy strong. Yeah.
Yeah, he looks like he's about like what, 5'9"?
Yeah, he's probably like 5'8", 5'9", maybe touching 5'10". But he, those guys in the rodeo, they got to be small. They got to be these short, stout, like tough as nails sort of dudes, like 5'7", 5'6", maybe even smaller. To get on that bull and just start going. But there's some tough sons of guns.
Oh yeah, I believe it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's the Morgan Wallen album. I would probably give it on a scale of 1 to 10.
7.7.
I was very close to that. I was right above it. Yeah, I was like probably put it at 7.9.
7.7 when the album first comes out is actually a really good rating because, like I said, most albums you don't just sit there and listen to an album and be like, wow, I love all these songs. It's not how it works. I don't care what anybody says. I don't care when people try to front. But, there's some skips on there right now, but give it time.
And it's tough to make it through there, too. I mean, it's 36 songs, but that'll last a year where everybody's like, oh, yeah, like this song still bumps because, you might listen to the first 8 and you really like those and then move on to another 8 that you really like. You can't really like get annoyed with them.
Yeah.
so
That's the point in dropping so many.
Like a double album this is a triple album. It's got to be a triple. I mean, a double album is probably like 18, 20 songs. But you know who's next in line to drop an album? Cody Johnson. Probably drop one in the fall. Putting money on it. It's cool. Like we get Wallen in the spring, which is what we got 2 years ago. We got Wallen in 2021 in the spring, and then we got Cody Johnson in the fall 2021 with his Human album. Then his Christmas album, and then right back to square one, 2023. Well, we'll get into the drafting aspect. I already know who's probably going number one. Actually, I don't know. We talked about it earlier. I don't know who's going to go, but yeah. So let's get into Creed 3. This one, that was an awesome movie. That was an awesome movie. I know that people expect like the same thing as Rocky, where it's just, you know, oh yeah, he's gonna fight a guy and he's gonna lose or whatever. Then he's gonna go train his butt off and then he's gonna win on a dramatic occasion. You know, obviously you can't really defer from that because that's what everybody likes in a boxing movie. You know, you can't stray too far from it. But what Creed 3 did, and spoiler alerts, like we're just gonna announce before we talk anything, spoiler alert. What Creed 3 did that was really awesome was they dramatized it in a certain way that Rocky or Creed 1 and 2 didn't really do. And I think that's because Michael B. Jordan was like producing his own movie this time. And there was a more relatable background. There was more family drama. There was masculinity in this show where like Adonis Creed is basically bundling up all his feelings towards the one person, you know, you could probably trust being your wife. And he was very vulnerable he was very anti-vulnerable. And he kept that through it all until he finally opened up.
He couldn't handle it anymore.
Yeah, and there's a breaking point, but he did a very good job of being masculine the whole movie. But yeah, I mean, what did you think of the fight scene with like Felix and like Adonis Creed's like protege and Damien's guy at the beginning towards the beginning of the movie when like Creed gave him the opportunity to work at the gym? I thought it was gonna be like a beat down.
Yeah, I was expecting a beat down as well, and I thought he was just gonna like go in there and, you know, he hasn't boxed in, well, I guess been in a boxing ring since he was like 18 years old. So I thought they were gonna make it to where he like goes in there, you know, this guy's a world champion, just goes there and like knocks his ass out, kind of like in The Warrior.
Oh yeah.
When he like, you know,
Tom Hardy's guy walking.
Yeah, he's like, I'll fight him, you know, like, you know, I'll keep him warm, and then ends up like whipping the champ's ass. And I thought that was gonna be another, you know, kind of typical movie kind of deal, but you know, instead they built Damien's character showing like he has all this stuff built up inside him and all this kind of rage, and you know, he's trying to show the world like he doesn't give anything. He doesn't give a crap about what people think. And he's like, I'm looking out for myself and I still got it. And I don't care if I have to hurt you in the process. I just want to get a shot at the title.
Yeah.
So that's what he went in there. It's little dirty cheap shots, and Felix and his mom are not digging it. And the way they built him up was
no mess.
Everyone knows they're gonna fight.
Yeah.
But the way they built it up was just like, was not expecting that. It was just kind of like, you know, especially when they're in the, like at the, what's it called? The show, you know.
Oh, you talk,
like the showing of like the album.
Yeah. For when she was producing someone else's music.
Yeah, because she's a producer now.
Yeah.
And when, you know, the Draco gets, you know,
hitting the forearm with that baton.
And everyone thought it was Felix's guy, and nobody knew it was, Damien's guy until the guy he met in the pen, until, you know, his mom showed Creed the picture, and it just shows you just like the way they built it up, because everything just made so much sense, and then him doing that to Draco just made you show like it all made sense when he was in that ring, and he was like, it kind of like when you get out of prison, you kind of have like a moral code kind of deal because you've been locked up in the pen for so long, and he just kind of thought, oh, he's just another guy who just got out of prison. Like, give it time. Like, he's maybe a good guy, but turns out, he's kind of still with the shits, and then eventually they have to score it out. I'll tell you what, for someone who didn't box for 18 years, that dude can scrap.
Yeah.
Good God, that dude.
Number one gold amateur boxer in the world, apparently.
And I don't know if this is a cheap shot, but hitting someone in their bicep.
Oh yeah, and like that deltoid, like right below the shoulder and the tricep area. He kept attacking those weaknesses, or like that lead arm.
I don't know if that's like illegal or not, but man, if it is, that is a smart tactic. I never even thought of something like that, where you just like,
oh yeah,
where all their power's at, just it's kind of like a kidney shot to the arm, get all their power out, and they're like, ooh, like, and he's a smart guy. Like, he was a Golden Gloves winner, the highest rated amateur fighter during his peak ever, and just the build up, and Michael B. Jordan, Jonathan Majors, badass actors.
Yeah.
And then,
Jonathan Majors is growing major right now. He's supposed to be the Marvel's new Thanos. Michael B. Jordan is producing his own movies now, and he's growing, and he's finally graduating kind of from that role where he's this like small town kid who's troubled, or something around that premise, where he's a troubled person and he has to like overcome that. But now he's overcame it in this movie, and it's a totally different perspective of Adonis Creed and Michael B. Jordan's acting. So I thought the acting, the script, and the story were great, and then the art for Damien was awesome. Because we, like you said, Felix didn't put the hit on him. It was Damien, so Damien put the hit on Drago, and now he gets this title shot, which is what Creed finds out after he had won the title. So he goes and sees him on the beach, and he's surrounded by basically gangsters, and they're all strapped with pistols and whatnot. And, they scrap, and Damien throws him a punch in the side of his ear. Michael Jordan's like, it's on, And from there, I think the best scene was when they finally got in the ring, and which was also cool, by the way, was that they played in Dodger Stadium.
I didn't expect that either.
That's awesome. Outside and much more bigger crowd. It was a pretty awesome look to see the ring in the middle of Dodger Stadium, especially as a baseball guy. But watching them two fight, and he isolated everything to where it was just that he removed all the fans, removed all the sounds, all the cameras, and it was just like Damien and Adonis. And then there was like jail cell animations, where they were basically fighting each other in a prison sort of deal, or fighting each other's prisons, metaphorically, whatever. Then they start scrapping one another, and it was really fun, choreographic, detailed shots, to where he had that gut punch on Damien had that gut punch on Adonis Creed, where it was just super slow motion. It was like anime inspired, according to Michael B. Jordan, where it's like super slow motion, sweat dripping off the back, just right there in the gut. That was a badass scene. I was like, damn, this is cool.
The only thing that I questioned in the whole movie, and this is because I don't know, it just kind of triggered me, was that when he was on First Take. Okay, First Take comes on at 10:30 Eastern time. Okay.
9:30 Central.
So 9:30 Central. So then, if Pacific time, it would be 7:30 a.m. If he just happened to, as soon as the show started, he hopped on the show. He's calling him out, and it is pitch black outside in Damien's house. It's not pitch black at 7:30 in the morning. And I'm like, you're calling him out, but it's like, I guess the darkness made a suspense. But if anyone knows First Take, it doesn't come on, because he live called him. It doesn't come on until 7:30 Pacific time. So I'm trying to figure out why that scene was.
It must have been like a late night show, but like that. You're correct. Like it comes on in the morning, and Damien's there in the pitch black, and that's when it got real. Is when they started clowning each other on the first take. But it was kind of funny to see. Like we both laughed, and we saw Stephen A. Smith on there. It's like instead of like Max Kellerman.
He's like, how you doing, my brother?
How you doing, my brother?
He's like, how you doing, my brother? He's like, you haven't fought in 3 years. And he's like, oh, we got a call. Yeah, here's your boy right here, Diamond Dame. And,
I'm coming for everything.
Yeah, he's like, my name's Diamond Dame. And then the way they ended it, I figured they were going to I figured they were going to squash it out. They kind of did it like the Rocky and Apollo, where they they eventually become friends and then dies. But it makes sense when you said Jonathan Majors and Michael B. Jordan are going to start making movies together. So with the next part, I'm really intrigued how Creed 4 is going to go, because
if there is one,
there'll definitely be a fourth one.
I hope so.
They're not in it on that. Like, just no way.
I don't know.
You just brought in this character.
At the end of Creed 3, he's in the ring with his daughter and his wife, and they both walk off, and he's in there by himself, and he kind of takes one last look and leaves.
What if in the fourth one he's managing Damien?
Or his daughter goes into the UFC.
They couldn't do that. She's like, what is she, like 6?
It's so weird because he's got a daughter that's deaf and wants to fight, but like I might be wrong on this. I don't know if it exists, but I don't think there's boxing for women. See, I don't even know. I won't quote on that, but
maybe not professional. But I bet you can find somewhere.
She could go trans and fight with the men.
Oh shit! I don't even want to think about that.
I hope there's a Creed 4, but if not, there's supposed to be some new like duo, and I'd love to see the rest of their movies. Michael B. Jordan is growing on me. He's probably one of my top 3 actors and producers currently out right now. He's really growing on me. Plus, all his videos on the side, where he's talking about like working on himself and his work ethic. Yeah. He's awesome for sure. Yeah, he's a fun guy. He's a dog. That's what he is.
Oh, he's a fun guy.
All right, so next up, we're gonna try this as best as we can. We're gonna do our ADP segment. It's gonna be our top country artists, and so I designed a new. We're trying to get better every single time we do these. We really want something to stick. We think the ADP segment's a good idea, but we want y'all to be able to see what we're drafting and see who we're drafting and have a list of who we're drafting from. So then there's more, blah, 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 give or take, challenge, whatever you want to call it. So let's try this out. A little Excel sheet here. Oh, well. Let's see. All right. This is our ADP draft board. So as you can tell, we got the kid and the Rook. I put them I got you in Astros colors. I'm in Rangers colors. Respect the rivalry. Top country artists. You got your round 1, round 2, round 3. And this is your pool to draft from. So
I can't really see it.
Hold on. Let's delete this column.
It's like a little blurry for me.
Let's zoom up for you. Good God. How about that? Can you see that?
No, I can't see it. I can't read it.
Really?
Yeah, it's like.
Just say that. What if I do this? You see it now?
No, I still can't. I really can't see it.
No way.
I mean, I can see what you're doing, but I can't see I can't read the names at all. It's blurry as hell.
Oh, fucking bored.
Just list the names real quick.
All right, here. I got you. I'm gonna send you the names. All right, yeah. So we'll adapt and overcome. Here we go. We'll have this just up. You can see this though, right?
Yeah, I can see it. I can't see like.
All right, I'm sending it to you on your phone. Check it out. We never panic. We never waver. We're always
men.
We're always focused. We're men.
We figure shit out.
All right, so yeah, here we go. Your top country artists. You got the pool to the right. Let's see if I can show you guys. This is our pool. We've got Cody Johnson, Morgan Wallen, Luke Holmes, John Party, Luke Bryan, Riley Green, Ernest, Zach Brownband, Parker McCollum, Jason Aldean, and of course the ladies, Laney Wilson and Casey Musgraves. There's a couple good ones in here. There's a couple like I don't know if I would draft these, but I try to make it as challenging as I could. All right. You want the first pick, or should I go first?
You got it.
Should I roll this? There you go. I'm gonna roll this Duracell battery, and if it lands on the side that says Duracell, then it's your pick.
All right, cool.
Duracell, it's your pick.
All right.
All right. Top choices on here. Start off, we got, I see the ones that I would take, but I also see the ones that the out-of-pocket person would take. So,
no, we're going to make it because you got to know where I'm feeling. Number one, I'm going to go with my man, wakes me up every morning, Morgan Wallen.
Morgan Wallen.
MW. He wakes me up every morning.
Morgan Wallen off the list. Solid pick.
Yeah, we were just.
I thought we were going to go a different route, but we can do that later. All right, yeah, I gotta go my route. I'm gonna go Cody Johnson.
Okay.
All right, two are off the board. You got Luke Holmes, John Party, Luke Bryan, Riley Green, Jason Aldean, Laney Wilson, Casey Musgraves.
All right, at number 2, I'm going to go with this woman because she's a smoke show and she makes pretty good music, I guess. I'm going to go with my girl, Casey Musgraves. Something about that song, Space Cowboy.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but...
Dog, I've had to leave the room before. You said, that's why Space Cowboy. I said, y'all play Space Cowboy. I'm walking outside to the balcony and I'm doing my thing out there. We're not gonna have sad night. It's supposed to be happy night. Gosh, that song is detrimental.
They played the song anyway, huh?
Yes, that's devastating.
Yeah, she's all her covers she does when she like redo someone's song, it's just like just a beautiful face and voice. And I used to have the biggest crush on Casey Musgraves. It's still big, but I'm talking like I'd always be thinking about her.
Yeah,
like,
you should write a song about her.
Is she married?
I believe so, yeah.
Ain't that a bitch? All right, well,
right.
There goes that one.
I feel like I would be wrong to not draft a female, and this one is up and coming. And let's pretend this is a dynasty league. Let's pretend it's a dynasty league here. We're talking future production. I'm going Laney Wilson. That girl, I can say some unreligious things about her appearance, but we're gonna keep it down to a simmered level. Amazing voice, though. Amazing voice. She got a large country twang, but it makes it work. I hated Reba when she used to play music, and Reba McEntire, and you're just like, okay, come on.
What about Lady Antebellum?
You mean Lady A? You misogynistic screw up.
What's wrong
What
with
about
Annabelle?
him? Oh,
Lady. Oh, it's Lady A.
Yeah, they changed her name to Lady A
Oh shit.
because Annabellum is racist.
Is it really?
I don't know.
How's it
But
racist?
I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. Like it. I actually looked up and I actually looked up Annabellum and I was like, I don't see it. I don't know. It's like the Dixie Chicks. They changed their name to the Chicks because Dixie is racist. But they sold themselves out of America long ago when George Bush got elected. Imagine that.
I mean, I don't blame him. George Bush is a little different.
We're gonna kill these terrorist fighters.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, watch us drive.
Watch us drive. Yeah, George Bush is. Yeah.
All right.
Well,
enough of that. Does Lady A actually have they have a twang? I didn't think they had like an accent like that.
She's just hot, but
oh, you're talking that way. Okay. Yeah.
For number 3, I'm gonna go with "We Been Burning, Rolling." Luke Combs.
Luke Combs. We been burning, rolling.
There's a couple of songs when I was heartbroken a while back, like "Hurricane." That was a good one. And then I heard "Hurricane." And I was like, "Wow, I'm down bad." And then I heard "Sunday morning, man, she woke up fat, man." And then I was like, "All right."
Sunday morning.
And I was like, "All right, we're good to go." She need a little something, but yeah, Luke Combs. I haven't seen him in concert, but I've heard he's really fantastic in concert. So he's definitely on my list to go see. Definitely see, MW.
Your ticket will be $498,000.
I came and lied to y'all. If I was to see Casey Musgraves in concert, I don't even know if I would be paying attention to what was being said. I don't know if I'd be paying attention to what she was actually singing. Maybe it's Space Cowboy, Butterflies, Slow Burn, maybe Neon Moon with a cover.
Oh yeah.
But however, I would just be mesmerized by the way this goddess looks on the stage.
She's like Athena, bro. Athena was a real person.
She is one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life, and I will die on that hill. I don't give one crap about what anybody says about that.
What about Nancy Pelosi?
She looks like Michael Jackson, okay? The white Michael Jackson.
The white Mike, yeah, she does. Welcome, Michael Jackson.
Not like she doesn't look like little Mike. She looks like Michael Jackson.
Hey, real quick, this reminded me of a Tucker Carlson panel. Are you upset that? Are you upset that Snickers is eliminating the penis vein from the Snickers bar?
I'm a little upset about it.
Dude, did you? I don't know if it was an edit, but somebody made a Tucker Carlson thing. They said, and pardon my language, there was like Snickers to remove the famous dick vein from the Snickers bar, and Tucker Carlson was reporting on it. That's hilarious.
Yeah, it's definitely an edit.
That's hilarious. Oh, dude. Okay, shoot, man, this is gonna be tough. Okay, I'm between Parker McCollum and Jason Aldean's just an asshole. Yeah, we're gonna go with the hometown kid. Now, my buddy Austin would be very proud of me to make this pick, but Parker McCollum is going to be my third pick. He's from Conroe. He's got a song that says, "Used to run off County Road 2854." I live off of 2854. Went to high school with his cousin. He's from College Park. His music has grown on me. Got to the rodeo, sell out. The chicks love him. He's shredded, which means he's probably a masculine man. We're going to go with Parker McCollum, number 3. Not the list that I thought I was going to have. You could argue yours is definitely better and more popular. That's for damn sure. Your list is much more popular. I think mine is just like I don't know. It's different. What do you think of your list?
Same, but different.
Samesies?
I got my man MW. I got the Goddess, and then I got We Been Burning, Rolling, and that part that in the what's that one song we kept hearing it at the ranch? It's like
Forever After All.
No, it's Tomorrow Me. That's
no Tomorrow Me. That's a good one.
That shit grew up on me.
Ain't gonna
That shit just reminds me of pulling a bunch of vines, pissed off at the world, and then it's like tomorrow ain't gonna be. I was like, yeah,
that's a good
one
one.
of the songs that grew on me. I like that one.
All right, so undrafted free agents. This is the waiver wire. So we've got John Party, Luke Bryan, Riley Green. I knew Riley Green and Ernest wasn't gonna get picked. I mean, I don't even know why I put him in there after thinking about it. But Zach Brown Band, and Jason Aldean.
I almost went Jason Aldean.
I figured so because the song alone, "Why," I figured would somehow get him inserted. And then John Party's. I almost went John Party because of his song "She Ain't in It."
Oh, okay. That's also really good.
But I just feel like I would have been scorned if I picked Luke Bryan because all my life I have scorned him for being this fake country dude. And then when I grew up, I realized this dude's actually probably the most country of them all. And his songs are bangers.
Yeah, his songs are bangers.
Once you grow up. Fast by him, Drink a Beer, Somebody Else Calling You Baby, like dog. Like he's got some good ones. But you had to grow out of that. Some 14, 15-year-old girls just saliving at her mouth watching Luke Bryan perform. It's the same thing as like Justin Bieber. Justin Bieber's music got good after everybody grew nuts and had their periods. It was just boom.
Yeah, the Jason Aldean, like the Why, like the Asphalt Cowboy, the Truth.
Asphalt Cowboy.
Asphalt Cowboy. I don't know what it is. That shit goes hard too.
That's a good ass song. All right, this was our ADP segment for country music artists. We're gonna try and keep this platform. I'm trying to find a better way so everybody can see it better. I'm not sure how well I'll be able to see once we review our project by ourselves. But round one, Hunter went Morgan Wallen. I went Cody Johnson. Round two, Casey Musgraves and Luke Holmes, and I got Laney Wilson and Parker McCollum. So we'll post that on Instagram and Twitter, and you guys let us know your list or whose list is better, which I'm assuming everybody will pick Hunters because they're more popular. But that's a different topic. I went with the young guns, except for Cody Johnson. He's pretty old. All right, let's get into NFL. A lot of crap happened. A lot. I don't even know where you want to start. We really can't even we're totally unscripted, that, but there is so much that happened. We could start wherever. I mean, I guess let's start with Derek Carr. Let's just do that because Derek Carr got a 4-year, $150 million deal to the New Orleans Saints. Everybody, I think, thinks in their head, it's like, oh, the Saints, that's a prominent franchise. And you're like, wait a minute. Sean Payton's not there anymore. He's in Denver. That whole any quarterback that goes in the Sean Payton system is going to be good it's out the window because that guy's not there. Last time I checked, they struggled horribly last year to be a competent team, and they for some reason started Andy Dalton over Jameis Winston, which I still don't really understand.
It was a race thing.
Yeah, I would agree. It's the hardest job in America. No.
Well, if there's one thing, I don't know how the hell they signed Derek Carr, but that team is in cap hell. And the fact that they were willing to get someone like Derek Carr, who was, for the most part, a pretty good quarterback, to sign him for 4 years, and you still have easily the worst contract in football, which is Michael Thomas. You got to pay him $13 million this year. If you want to cut him, $26 million just to cut him. But guess what? Next year, what's his cap hit? $59 million.
Oh my gosh.
$59 million for Slant Boy. It is insane.
And what's hilarious is Michael Thomas was on Twitter boasting about how thankful he was to have Derek Carr and his team. I'm like, dude, I wouldn't be talking so loud. You might be cut like in 3 weeks, or by the beginning of next season.
Well, the problem is
he hasn't played.
They have a lot of guys who they have all these screwed up contracts to where most of their salary cap, like their dead money and stuff, and people they got paid don't even play on the team anymore. So they already have a screwed up cap. And then what would make it worse is if they cut Michael Thomas, because that's 26 million. They're gonna cut Jameis. Probably gonna keep Andy Dalton. Then they have people like Taysom Hill, who's like 4 years, 140.
Yeah.
You want to talk about contracts that piss people off?
That one should piss you off.
Why does no one ever talk about the Taysom Hill contract? Everyone wants to talk about Daniel Jones.
No, everybody's talking about Dak usually. Dak and Daniel Jones. Like, it's just look.
It's crazy to me how people, which I understand, Daniel Jones, I'm not saying Daniel Jones is great, good, whatever. What I'm saying is people are pissed off about that contract. Go look at Taysom Hill's contract. Tell me what position he plays 90% of the time.
He's a sniffer. He's a sniffer back, basically. He's just like a Swiss Army knife that basically gets practice squad player production at every position. Now, the hot take with the Deebo Samuel comparison, that's hilarious. I don't care who you are. To say that if Taysom Hill played the same amount at a position that Deebo Samuel does, like did the same thing Deebo Samuel does. He got like 90% snap count from the positions that Deebo Samuel did, that Taysom Hill will do the same stuff. I said that and it upset a lot of people, but if you watch Deebo Samuel play, it's a troll. It's a troll. I get it, but watch him play. Watch him play.
But I guess shout out to the Saints. Looking at it, depending on what happens in the draft or the rest of free agency, looks like the Falcons and the Panthers both do not want Lamar Jackson. What I'm thinking is I think those teams are going to – they're like, okay, Derek Carr is obviously the best quarterback in that division because you have, P.J. Walker, Kyle Trask, and Desmond Ridder.
Desmond Ridder, yeah.
If they don't draft anybody, they could draft somebody, obviously.
Wait. Yeah, no, that's right. Yeah.
The Saints will probably win a division next year. And if not, those teams will draft quarterbacks next 2 years or go get somebody. But they're like, you know what? You just signed Derek Carr to 4 years, $150 million. Have fun winning division for at least 1 year. And then from there, they're still in cap hell, so they're going to have to figure some stuff out.
Now, if Michael Thomas does play, and he actually produces, and they've got Chris Olave on their side, and their rookie from this year, number 89, I can't remember his name. He's extremely fast. And they've got Kamara still, which I wouldn't even be shocked if they dealt him. Or if he even doesn't play, because he might get arrested or charged with something, suspended even. But running backs are replaceable. I could see, Derek Carr and the Saints. I don't know how good their head coach can do, but if they have a competent defense, I can see them getting 9 or 10 wins and winning the division. And
definitely, it doesn't matter if either Michael Thomas is going to be a free agent and they're going to have all that dead money next year, or if a team wants him, they're going to have to take on at least half the contract. It's horrible.
Yeah.
I don't know what this guarantee prop is, but I don't know what his agent did to get him to $59 million for a cap hit. That is like all-time finesse. That is like all-time finesse. Don't know how he pulled it off, but
so here's a couple. Yeah, I agree. Here's a couple players that might get shopped. Allen Robinson, Eric Kendricks. We've heard
by the Cowboys.
This is the big one. Derrick Henry. They're looking to shop him, which he's already been paid, hasn't he?
Yeah, he gets paid like $12 million.
Yeah, so somebody's got to take on that contract, which is really not that bad. I mean, Cowboys are franchising tagging Pollard for. And here's a video with D Hop in Dallas.
What's going on, D? What's going on, Triple D?
Yeah.
So I know they talk about Derek Henry with the contract. He got paid right before he started popping off. If he would have had that 2,000-yard season, then got paid, he'd be getting paid a lot more. So shout out to Tennessee for seeing something before anybody else. But now they have that Ryan Tannehill contract, and it's like, shit, now I need to figure this out.
Yeah.
So it's like, get rid of the running back, which is they couldn't sign A.J. Brown. And, at the time, that Ryan Tannehill contract looked pretty promising. Didn't look like a bad contract at all. It's literally turned to spit in their face. Like, he's obviously not that guy, especially with, like.
I mean, you might see a complete identity change with the Titans as well. I mean, Taylor Lewan, blessed with the boys, he's been released by the Titans. Derrick Henry's reportedly going to get shot. A.J. Brown left a year ago. Julio Jones left a year ago, like a year or two ago. Now you got basically your defense and your coach that are basically the same, and you got a completely different identity on offense. Because I'm not even sure they'll keep Ryan Tannehill. Who knows what's going to happen with Ryan Tannehill? But
I could see the Bears trying to get Derrick Henry.
Yeah, that would be fun to watch. Everybody always talks about the Bills. You're like, bro, every good player has to go to the Bills when they report a free agent or a possible shopping partner. You're like, dude, imagine him on the Bills offense. You're like, okay, imagine. I
haven't heard anybody say this, but I'm gonna say the Bears should look to get someone like Derrick Henry, because obviously the way they play, they're going to have to be with Justin Fields, they're going to have to be a running team. Go get arguably the best running back in football, if not top 3. $12 million, which is not too bad for a running back. It's like normal. But yeah, if you can get, and even if the Titans take on a little bit of his contract, shit, I'd do it.
He's got some fresh legs still. And then the Daniel Jones contract, obviously, and we can go through the shop players later. I mean, who knows what they're going to do with some of these players. Geno Smith, Goatman.
Woo!
Goatman got signed to a $3 million, I believe it's $105 million contract with the Seattle Seahawks. Has he officially wrote back?
He's not done yet. He's got the money, but it won't change him. He's still gonna work hard. As long as he plays with that chip on his shoulder. There might be something cooking in Seattle. That's it's actually not a bad deal. It's very team friendly, and if they can just
the fact that he got paid though is just awesome.
Oh yeah, they might make a movie about him if he wins a Super Bowl. I don't think he's gonna win a Super Bowl, but if he was to make win a Super Bowl, they're definitely making a movie about him.
That'd be awesome. That would be awesome, and I think he would be he said it himself, but I think he'd be a great coach one day too.
Oh yeah, I could. Yeah, he seems like a smart guy, and you could tell by like his poise and like in the pocket when pressure's coming. Like he knows how to like stay calm, and sometimes you just don't have the athletic ability, or just what can they say, that the good coaches are usually the ones who are not the best quarterbacks or any sport. The point guards are good at coaching in the NBA. The Doc Rivers, Jason Kidd, Jerry West, like all those guys. Those are all point guards. Get someone like Geno, who, if he was going to coach someone, they're probably capable of being better than him. Because, like, if he has like a real quarterback. So we'll see. I wish the best for him. I'm glad he got paid, and I might buy a Geno Smith jersey. No cap.
That's be a good, fun purchase. Obviously, we talked about this a little bit on the previous podcast with Tony Pollard being franchise tagged for about $10 million by the Cowboys.
Too.
Saquon was franchise tagged, I think,
10 million.
for however much million it was. It might have been 15 for him.
No, it was 10 million. They got him and Pollard getting paid the same.
Oh, damn. Interesting. Well, Saquon finally had a healthy season last year, and I think he'll do fine. I'm sure, but I can't see him in a jersey that's not a Giants jersey.
I think they're waiting for one more year of being healthy before they decide to.
Oh, there it is. Yeah, 10.09 million.
But what they did was the way they made Daniel Jones' contract was so they could. The cap hit's only 19 million. Saquon's is only 10 million. You could get someone good in free agency, or even trade for someone. I would say watch for D-Hop going there, or Brandon Ayuk. If not, they might draft a wide receiver. Someone like Smith. I don't know what pick they have. I think they're like, 22 or something? I know they're right before us, 26, I think.
Which team are you talking about?
The Giants. I think they're number 26.
They're 23.
No, I think they're 26 because I remember.
No, we're 26.
Then they're 25. We both lost in the second round. They're definitely 25. They're definitely 20 because I remember I did a mock draft and they picked a wide receiver for me. I was kind of pissed off.
I think you might be right. And I think I know the Chargers are somewhere in that 24-25 range.
They have.
I think the Jaguars. I don't know.
Let's see. I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, I mean.
Pick 25. Yeah, they're right before us.
There you go. Good looks. Yeah, I mean, I think one more year, them trying to see what they're working with, not only with Saquon, but as well as Daniel Jones. I just, in all my years of watching him, I never imagined him getting paid. But everyone's freaking out right now. Me and you have been talking about recently how him getting paid the amount he's getting paid seems just so crazy to everyone else. But then you actually think about it and you go, okay, who's about to get paid? All right, Justin Herbert, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, and Lamar Jackson maybe. He's gearing up for one. Those are that's going to move him from being like the 7th, 8th highest paid quarterback where he's currently. He's right with Dak. It's going to move him back to the 12 to 15 area. I mean, and that's where he should be. I mean, I don't know how else to explain it. I would not pay Daniel Jones personally. I would sign him to a deal similar to Geno's, but
I mean, the thing about it is, since he's been in the league, he hasn't had a true weapon on the outside.
Yeah,
healthy at least. Saquon, it's his first year being healthy. Then he had Jason Garrett, and we know about Jason Garrett. Then we have Ben McAdoo. So he shows glimpses, but then he shows glimpses of not being good. But what they're gonna do is the first 2 years ain't shit. So they can get out of when they get out of the deal. If they decide 2 years from now, they're like, yeah, we don't want to. You're not the guy. Get out of here. The cap hit and dead money is not going to be shit. So that it's these 2 years they can really see, okay, because he got his coach on the last year of a prove it deal. So he's like, okay, they got the coach now. Now it's okay, let's go get you a weapon. Let's just say, like I said, D-Hop, Brandon Ayuk, draft somebody. Let's get you some help. And if you can't figure it out with those guys in 2 years, you're gone. And it won't cost them that much to cut him. If they want, they could trade him, whatever. But just the way they did it, he got his money. And now, if he can get those weapons, he might be able to prove that he's like a top 15 quarterback. I say he's like
Right at 15.
I say he's like 15 to 17. I don't think he's a bad quarterback. I just think he, if you use like the weapons thing, like he doesn't have weapons. He also had a shit line for years. His defense is not bad. Coaching was ass. Gettleman, worst GM in football until he was gone. Yeah, he got out of there. So
yeah, you got to have a third eye view on it. You know, you got to have you got to look at it level-headed. You can't look at it in a sense where it's like, well, this guy didn't get weapons and blah, blah, blah. And he's terrible. And then he gets weapons and he still sucks. Daniel Jones is one of those guys that it's never been like it's determined he sucks. I mean, of course, everybody says it during the seasons, but then if you think about all the things that you just stated, like we all complain as Dallas fans, we hate Jason Garrett. We hate him. We wanted to get rid of him for years. Nice guy, great, whatever. Can you coach football? Like, no, it was terrible. Then he goes to the Giants where he gets an offensive coordinating job. We laughed at them. And then what did the Giants do? Or Giants fans do? They laughed at him because he was so atrocious. Running the ball on like 3rd and 9 inside the 5. It was just terrible. And of course, Ben McAdoo, he doesn't have a coordinating job anymore. Now they got a guy with like Brian Daboll, who, last year we were pretty excited about. But one thing a lot of people forget to mention is that, and they know this, but Daboll with Josh Allen was incredible. The ball security really made a difference. And then what happened the year after Brian Daboll left? Josh Allen starts throwing more interceptions. He starts fumbling more. He's higher risk, lower reward. Daniel Jones, what was his problem before Daboll got there? It was losing the football. They called him one of our buddies calls him lesbian hands. He's going to fumble all the time. Shout out to Grant. That's a hilarious name. He's got butterfingers. And then Daboll comes in and his turnovers are completely minimized. Coaching matters. And I think that's what they're believing in. I think they're kind of riding on that. Oh, we have a great coach. We can just get weapons. We have this system quarterback that run our system well. We can win games and we can maybe make a playoff push similar to Eli Manning's.
I don't think that people give Daniel Jones enough credit about what he was given on the offense. Also,
Isaiah Hodgins.
Isaiah Hodgins was their best wide receiver in the last 2 months. They picked him up from the street. They picked him up from the stands. And people don't give Daniel Jones enough credit for, getting into the playoffs, getting a playoff win. And they talked about it. Last offseason, they had 2 signings. And then they had the coach. So 2 signings the whole time. And you're like, Daboll in the organization's like, okay, you might be able to be the guy, but you might not be the guy. That's what the whole deal's about. Let's get you some weapons, and let's see what we can all cook up. Like, hold up. Let him cook.
Hold up.
So that's how I say I don't like to write off players so early in these deals. Like I said, like the deal's really not a lot. It sounds like a lot because it's, when you start getting all these $100 million deals, like, but quarterbacks have to get paid. I just don't see a direction they could have went in this draft. So what, they want to draft a quarterback? What, they have the 25th pick? You're not getting a quarterback, or you can free agent. Like what, you want to go with Jameis Winston?
Yeah.
You want to go with something like. It's not a bad move, and just wait until he gets some weapons, and we'll see if he's like actually like not good or if he's just good. He's not going to be great.
Yeah, and I don't think they're counting on him to be either. I think they're maybe show flashes of great. They know what he's great at, and that's an important thing to recognize when you have a quarterback. And the cool thing is too, and if they suck this next year and they go out there and they're just, sweating bullets, there are people that like the 2024 draft class or 2023 college football draft class better than this one. People like Caleb Williams and Drake May from North Carolina. They could end up getting a guy that they can build around, have a year or two in the system and then get rid of Daniel Jones and boom, there's I think only positives come from this, as much as I hate to say it because I hate the Giants, but it's not the worst move. It's going to make headlines. Sure, Dak Prescott's contract, man, he's getting paid the exact same as Daniel Jones. It made crazy headlines. And then what happened? This guy got paid, this guy got paid, and this guy got paid, and this guy got paid. And now he's what, 7, 8, and he's going to seek down to 9, 10, 11. And Kyler Murray is getting paid more than him. Like, let's all just calm down. Yeah, so then the contract's not that bad. It's not. I wouldn't pay him, but it's not that bad.
This might be a hot take, but for Daniel Jones, I would put Daniel Jones over Tua. And Daniel Jones, if he was...
Now, is this concussed Tua or non-concussed Tua?
This is both.
Okay.
Daniel Jones in that offense of, because basically what the Dolphins are running, like a bunch of RPO action with Waddle and Tyreek Hill on the outside. So, and then what do you have to account for? Daniel Jones is Vanilla Vic. That dude can run the ball. I don't know. It's just you got to look at everything as a whole. And he's not like a bad quarterback. He's like top like 17, like 15, 17,
They hear that number and everybody freaks out.
There's not that many good quarterbacks in the league. There's really not that many good quarterbacks.
And there's categories. There really is. I mean, there's people where they're in a good system and they thrive well off of it. And there's people that have the weapons, but they're not that good of a quarterback without them. There's people that without them, they're still the best in the league. And there's guys, then there's dogs, then there's pups, and then there's cats, basically.
Yeah, I just get it. I just like,
who's a good man?
Why it's like people are looking at Justin Fields like saying like, oh, like look what he's doing. But it's like people like Daniel Jones don't got shit either, and like they praise Justin Fields for it, but they don't praise.
That's racially motivated. That's different. But
I just don't get why people just change their agenda about things. Like, just stick to an agenda and then go from there.
They can't do it.
I will say I like to say guys are just good when I watch them play, and I don't care what their weapons are. I don't care what the numbers say. I'm like, okay, we watch them play. You're like, okay, that's a good quarterback. Just get him the right stuff, and it's kind of like with. Because Justin Fields just went 3-13, and then he's about before that, wasn't doing anything. Like, yeah, he's putting on a performance, but what are we basing quarterback? Are we basing it on wins? Are we basing it on what he has? Because he didn't have weapons. Daniel Jones didn't have weapons.
Yeah.
And you just gotta look at. If someone has an opinion, just stick to it. But you have to use that opinion and your logic for everybody else for it to be, for people to actually take you serious. Because one thing about me, I might say a bunch of ludicrous stuff that people don't say usually, but anytime I say it, I use the exact same agenda from all the guys. I don't change it. I say what I want.
Yeah.
And I try to.
Yeah,
I'm trying to move my goalposts.
That's a good way to think, though. I mean, because nobody does it, really. I mean, I didn't do it until I started listening to you. But that's how you learn. Just because you're somebody, like you're a friend, you're not a GM, doesn't mean I can't listen to what you have to say. The best kind of men are the people that listen. And
you can always learn. Everybody, if you go and
how many takes do you think I have had where I say this and then you're great at it. You use somebody else's own logic against somebody, and then what happens? They get all pissed off. But now you do the same to me. Now it's a little more difficult because I've started to adopt that mindset where it's like, okay, I have this agenda for this guy. I need to have it for this. but it might be different than somebody else's. That's where it can collide with people like us, because I feel like I've gotten better at that. However, I have different opinions than you on some things.
Of course.
Which is fun. That's what makes sports fun. God damn it.
It was fun. It was funny when you try to hit me with the Tony Pollard thing about 3 months after I said something, thinking like, okay, is he gonna fold here or is he gonna stick to his agenda?
Which part?
About the sign the veteran.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah, exactly. Yes, you're talking about when you were on the couch and I asked you?
Yeah.
And I said, hey, what do you think of them signing Pollard to a franchise deal and then, getting a guy in the draft? And you were like, I was like kind of scheming over there, and you were like, you said whatever you said that which stuck with your agenda, and I was like, well played. He knew he didn't even know he was being set up, and very impressive.
It's just I always say that I take more people seriously when they just stick to their own. If they just stick to their whole agenda for everything, like it makes things so much easier. Just like, okay, all right, I think you're not a hater, because then you understand when people are just hating just to hate. It's like it's kind of like Grant with Trevor Lawrence. Like, bro, come on, you're just hating at this point. He's not mid. Like, come on, bro, quit hating. Get the malice out of your heart.
I don't understand the Trevor Lawrence hate.
Get the malice out of your heart. He's not mid. Okay.
Yeah.
You don't have to like him, but he's not mid.
A good point too is a lot of people like get their opinions from how a player performed for them in fantasy football. There's some people that do that, which is like, that's retarded. One of my main arguments is, and I'm sorry for the uninclusive language of saying retarded, but I'm not actually sorry. One of the funny thing is like Austin Eckler. I'm never going to draft him because like he's not even a running back. It's like, bro, he's a number one fantasy running back every year. You're telling me you hate him so much as a fantasy football player because he's not a running back, but he's number one every year, basically. And because of that, what happens? You never win championships. Boom, got it. It's just the way it is. It doesn't make any sense. Work smart or work harder, not smarter, is what he's doing.
Amen, brother.
Yeah. All right, well, let's get into our track ranking segment. I'll show you guys first. Colin Cowherd, the host of The Herd on Fox Sports, came out with a list for NFC's top quarterbacks in the NFC. And this was his list. Now, he may be wondering what the hell, but you also might be wondering that this is a good list. Who knows what your opinions are? We decided, because we're unscripted and we don't have a gun pointed to our head from Fox telling you to put a white man at number one, that we can go a different route on this. Jameis was one on my list. I don't know about you. No, I'm playing. But yeah, so there's that list. Let's go into ours. I'll share mine first, and then we'll go into it. But I don't know. The list is Colin Cowherd's he's ballsy with it. He really is. I mean, he always just kind of throws something out there, and everyone's like, "Oh my god," because Stafford hasn't played all year, so they're all like freaking out because Stafford's on a list of. It doesn't even matter what kind of list. You can put him in the top 10 right now, and everybody would shit bricks. But is he a top 10 quarterback? He won a Super Bowl a year or two ago, and he's been good for a long time. He's a long-term veteran. He may not be top 10, but he's a good quarterback. And the NFC is all the loaded quarterbacks are in the NFC. Or AFC, sorry, AFC.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah. That is a bold take. Yeah. Let's see. There we go. Okay. I may not be able to see that. Is
that Jay Hurts right there?
Let's isolate the image. All right. Number one, I had Jalen Hurts. Now, my agenda wasn't really aligning with this for quite a while. But I don't think I always say that if he didn't have everything that he needed, then he would fold. And the truth is that he's probably never going to he's probably always going to have what he needs. So, and those people that don't have what they need, I'm sure he'll still put up a pretty good season. I just think it'd be kind of ignorant to say that I don't believe he's the best thrower of the football like everyone says he is. Like, not like in general, but I believe that he's not as good as everyone says he is, but I do believe that he's a very good quarterback. I don't think he's great, but I think he's good to very good. Right behind him, I have Dak Prescott. He's one of the veterans. Like, he's in his prime in veteran years in terms of service. He's one of those guys that, regarding exploiting last year, disregarding last year. He's one of those guys where turning the ball over is not in his DNA. He's going to put up 25 plus touchdowns, 10-ish interceptions, and a couple of rushing touchdowns, and 10 to 12 wins every year. No matter what's going on, no matter if you have some scrubs in offense for wide receiver, if you got a hurt running back, if you got a bad defense, he wins you games. And I think he's just, who knows? I think he's going to have a bounce back year. I think it was a very off year for him. We'll see how Mike McCarthy's scheme changes for him. And then, I had Matthew Stafford at number 3. I think he went 41 touchdowns and 17 interceptions when he won the Super Bowl a couple years ago. And he's been good for a very, very long time. He's one of those gunslingers. I think having him at 3 is a fair spot. I don't think Derek Carr is better, or Jared Goff is right there too. But I had Derek Carr right behind him. I think he's in a new environment. I don't know how much it'll help, but it's not a disaster like Las Vegas is. I mean, they used to play on a freaking baseball field. I don't even know how that was allowed in the NFL to play on a baseball field. But Jared Goff right behind him. He's been great. Not great. He's been very good ever since he got on the Lions. Very, very good. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. And then I don't know if Aaron Rodgers is going to stay in the NFC. I don't know if Lamar is going to sign with a team in the UFC, in the NFC. But if he were to, I'm putting Lamar up in this area, 2 to 3 range, maybe even 1. He's just electric. And then honorable mentions, you've got Kyler Murray and Kirk Cousins. We're only doing top 5, but those are guys worth mentioning. You can insert those wherever you like. You can kind of trade out Derek Carr, Matthew Stafford, Jared Goff, and Kirk Cousins. They're all basically the same. But yeah, that's my list. Y'all can let me know how y'all think. We're gonna post it on Instagram, so let us know if you think it's good or bad. We want you guys to have some controversy. So, and then the kids list. I don't know. I feel like Jalen Hurts. I feel like betraying myself by putting Jalen Hurts number 1, but I feel like it's a responsible thing to do. Thinking about with a level-headed point of view. Shoot me for it.
All right. For my list so the top one, it says NFC quarterbacks. And then as the best one, moving forward, I have Jalen Hurts.
Okay.
Jalen Hurts, he played exceptional.
Sorry, I just saw the bottom. It's funny.
He played exceptional all year. Second in MVP. Playoffs, those first 2 games, he didn't have to do much. So people were thinking, what's going to happen in the Super Bowl? And what he did is proved everybody wrong about what he's capable of. Yeah, they didn't win the game, but he showed flashes of, all right, we can build something around him. And from the looks of it, he's getting better and better, he has such a good work ethic, which could really do him good in the future. Because for the most part, I know he runs quite a bit, but he's a very smart runner. I don't see him taking that many hits.
Yeah.
And he's already a strong guy. I don't like to compare him to people like Fields or Lamar and the way they run, because those guys are like Jalen Hurts isn't really a home run hitter, but he doesn't take punishment like those guys. And I think the Eagles really enjoy that, and that's why they're not. I don't think they'll have a problem with signing him long term. And then the rest of the next 4 tiers are just good. Just put them as good because the way the thing was set up, it was like elite, average, really average. Like I was like, you know what? I'm gonna change my criteria. Just do that. Number 2, I'm not gonna write him off after 1 year post Super Bowl with a pretty bad team. I'm gonna go with Matthew Stafford. He's capable of. Now, the only thing that's stopping him right now is injuries. But his team, his offensive line was awful. Like I understand, like you can't have the best line, and it's like more often than not you're gonna have. It's like you're gonna get pressure, of course. But it was like every time he dropped back, he was getting in the face. Like he couldn't even do anything, and he's already kind of a statue in there. So like when you don't even give someone more than like 3 seconds to like throw it, and he's like in shotgun too, and you're like, oh god, like this is bad. Like that offensive line was bad. They have a couple of things. They really need to go offensive line because especially his injuries and. Yeah, I just think I don't like writing off people off 1 year. I just think that's kind of just not fair.
I agree. 6 years into, I like it.
Number 3, I'm gonna go with Kyler Murray. I think at first, before people started to kind of figure out Cliff Kingsbury's offense, that it wasn't like it was going well, but it turns out like he's not really a head coach. Like I think he needs to be more focused on just being an OC. Yeah. I think he thrived really well at that. Kyler Murray, for the most part, he hasn't had like he had D-Hop for a full year, and then when D-Hop comes back, like he tears his ACL. There's a lot of questions with his core, but as like a playmaker, like you have to respect him. Like he's has a very good arm. He's athletic and run. He's just one of those guys that I don't know how he's going to look after post injury, but I think he's a pretty solid quarterback. And if he comes back normal and his like potential, I think he'd be really good. A lot of people were really starting to get mad at him because of his contract, but I feel like if he wasn't paid yet, I feel like people would kind of would not be down on him as much because once you get paid, it goes downhill from there. And people don't talk good about you. All it talks about is contracts.
Why isn't Kyler Murray's like picture small? He should be like half the size.
Well, it's funny because looks like he's meditating on the field. At number 4, I'm gonna go with our guy, Dak Prescott. With the last couple years,
if the hashtag "not my president" was around when we started this podcast, you would say "not my quarterback."
Well, he is my quarterback. That's the thing. I know who my quarterback is for the Cowboys.
He might be aware with it. We ain't behind him.
With Dak, my biggest thing has always been with his play. And I'm not even talking about the numbers. I'm talking about what's going on in the game. He's very too hot and too cold. There can be some games where he played very well, but his numbers weren't that good, but he played well. But then you got games where his numbers are good, but he really didn't play that well because most times behind, trunking the ball. Mm-hmm. That's why I've been the biggest thing of going off numbers of Dak. I think watching him play, I think his best games are where he throws like 280 yards and a between that and like 300. I feel like those are always his usually best games. And then when his
Well,
games,
really, arguably not even that. You could go lower. You can go
it's just like the
250. Yeah.
I can't think of that many games where he's like actually thrown for like over 300 yards, and it was like, wow, he played spectacular. Like
Yeah, there's a few.
I love Patriots
not a lot,
game
but yeah.
when he hurt his calf. Like he threw for like 376, but he was on one. But it's like those games where it's like he does better. And when he's running, and like we're talking about Daniel Jones, like even though Dak only has CeeDee Lamb and Schultz, and he has Zeke and Tony Pollard, useless Zeke at this point, but you can't use the weapons for if you're gonna use the weapons thing for Dak, you got to use it for the other guys. Dak does have weapons. He does have a number 2. Most teams don't have a number 1, but you get him enough. You could get him a high-end number 2 wide receiver. I think that's what Dallas really needs. Not necessarily a 1. The Cowboys will be fine. Dak's still a good quarterback. Number 5, we go with my man Jared Goff. I don't know what the Jared Goff hate is, but for some reason, people just cannot stand him. And
I don't get it. Yeah.
He does nothing but win. What he does. He wins. He's, you could say he was a system guy when he was with Sean McVay. But however, when he went to the Detroit Lions, they have Ben Johnson. Ben Johnson's a very good coach. I'm not underestimating him at all, but Jared Goff is still – he didn't have most of his weapons the whole year this year. Still had a winning record, played very well.
Yeah. In Detroit.
And then they even give away – not only did he not play with a lot of his weapons, they gave away one of his best weapons to come up for Mr. Brock Wright, which we hope to have on the podcast soon.
We will have Brock Wright on the podcast.
Brock, we talked to your parents. We know you dig this stuff. Get on the pod.
Brock, I talked to your freaking dad, and I've worked for him for 2 years. I love the man, and I asked him personally if he would join our show. And I'm going to ask you some really funny questions, specifically about your personal life, because I'm going to.
I met your parents' Boston Terrier. We know who your parents are.
I know your mother's maiden name.
You don't have to quiz us. We understand. But yes, get on the pod. But yeah, Jared Goff. So, and then my last list.
You will face judgment.
My last list is the last part of my list is Tua, and I have Brock Purdy, Trey Lance, Jimmy G, and then I have Tua. That's gonna round up the end of my list.
You think that the 49ers trio is the Holy Trinity?
Basically, it's called the. I might as well put it the Tua system in there because basically what it is. It's just a system. Don't believe any of these guys are actually good until they go to a different team type deal.
Hey, here you go. Jimmy G, the father, Trey Lance, the son, and then you got Purdy, the son, and then you got the Holy Spirit. Is Trey Lance?
They're a little.
The Holy Trinity that loses in the NFC Championship game every year.
Yeah, that's basically the system. That's why I was gonna put Daniel Jones in there as number 6, but I was like, I'm gonna make my own list.
Yeah, I didn't want to go too far into it. That's good. That's a good list. I want to let other people question it, but we can question each other all day.
I'm guessing your biggest question is Kyler Murray.
It definitely is. I don't understand what he's done, and he's had people. So I don't know. Maybe the coach, but it's arguable. It's definitely arguable, and it's not like a fallacy or a crime to put him in front of like Jared Goff or Dak.
I mean,
he's a good quarterback.
He had a number 1 for I guess 1 year, but they made it to the playoffs. He played very well, but really, if you think about it, D-Hop was the only time he had him for 1 year.
Who did he have before D-Hop? Who even was it? Christian Kirk, right? Didn't he have Christian Kirk? Oh, I'm not making that argument. I was just stating a name. I was just calm your tits. I understand he wasn't that good.
The Christian Kirk. I just hear people talking about Trevor Lawrence be like, well, he has Christian Kirk.
Oh,
like, bro,
no.
Christian Kirk is not a number one.
He's a
two. He's a number two.
He's a deep threat too. That is a major difference. That's why when I bet on him, he's either getting 20 yards or 100. He has to hit. It's like Deshaun Jackson. He has to hit a deep bomb. But yeah, he had I think he had when he started out. It was like Christian Kirk, Andy Isabella, and like weird people like that. Like maybe he had James Conner at the time. He might have still been in Pittsburgh, but he had that. Yeah, I won't go too far into it, but yeah, I mean it's totally debatable for sure. It's a good list. I like it. We both have different lists.
Yeah, we can talk about it and make out later.
Sounds good. Can we just end the podcast now so we can start? All right, now let's get to our the one we've been looking forward to. JJ Redick. JJ motherfreaking Redick.
That's good, man, right there.
So the only thing I don't have is I have the full segment, but it's 11 minutes long. But we're only gonna play the 50-second segment where he's beefing with Kendrick Perkins. Oops. All right, so if you haven't seen the video yet, this one is very recent. And so basically the whole argument is behind is Kirk was basically saying that Nikolai Jokic is
Joker
is stat padding and that he's in line to win the MVP race and Kendrick Perkins makes it a race issue, saying that most of the voters that vote on NBA MVP votes are racist, and that's just in the three white MVPs that have won it previously are Steve Nash, Dirk Nowitzki, and Joker last year. So that's kind of the big controversy. And so it's basically pointing the finger at white people, which is what ESPN normally does all the freaking time. So let's see. The comment says, JJ Redick won the argument when Kendrick Perkins pulled out the Stephen A. Smith yell loud and act like you're right voice. See, everybody knows, man. Everybody knows when you get in these situations and somebody is speaking the facts, they yell in your freaking face. And they don't even let you speak. You can't even hear them talk. You just have to sit there and go, wow, what an immature imbecile you are. I mean, he's doing it right now. But let's listen. Don't say anything while it's going on. 12.2 million.
Stephen A., I mean no offense to you, and I mean no offense to First Take. Because I think this show is extremely valuable. It is an honor to be on this desk every day. It really is. But what we've just witnessed is the problem with this show, where we create narratives that do not exist in reality. The implication, what you are implying, that the white voters that vote on NBA are racist, they favor white people. You just said that. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Yes, you did. That is exactly what you implied, Kendrick Perkins. That is exactly what you implied. Secondly,
I stated the facts. And you're not about to sit up.
We all know what you implied the other day. We all know what you implied just now. Hold on.
I stated it's the facts. It's the facts. It's the facts.
Okay.
I want to say,
Stephen
A., I mean,
It's the fact. It's the fact. No, it's the facts, Hunter. It's the facts.
Hey, show the apology.
Oh.
The NBA publicly announces the voters. I want to correct something here from yesterday's show. When Kendrick Perkins said 80% of NBA voters for the MVP award are white. The NBA publicly announces the voters each year. And after review, it is clear the panel is much more diverse than what was portrayed by Kendrick Perkins, and we wanted to make sure that we corrected that today.
Oh, really? Yeah, really. Got him.
Yeah, that man.
Definition of gotcha, bitch.
Hey, fucking get smoked.
Dude.
Smoked.
Okay, JJ Redick, I've heard a couple of his pieces. He's pretty new to the system. I believe he's got his own podcast somewhere. Man,
Good podcast.
in the red pills will take this to the core. But the reality is JJ Redick is just a realist. He sees things the way that they should be seen. And for the past 6 years, as long as I've been really paying attention to sports, ESPN has just been this platform to spit and spill crap about race all day, every day. Black, white, white, black, black, white, black, 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 blah, blah, blah. The whole thing, all the time. And so for someone finally, especially in like the NBA, which is probably the worst of it, is just on there saying, how can you possibly say this? And then he later has a video where he just exposes all of the facts with advanced statistics and no feelings, no nothing, just stats and advanced stats, not even just the regular, and just completely disproves Kendrick Perkins in another video. I don't have it, but
remember when I showed you the video yesterday and we watched it, and I told, like I said months ago, I was like, JJ Redick is gonna get kicked off ESPN. Like, I was like, they're gonna kick him off. Like,
they're gonna kick that dude off.
I was really shocked that they apologized for that. That was very unlike them. I think the NBA pushed for it. I'll tell you what, I know everybody, those ESPN producers did not want to do that shit. Not one bit.
Oh,
and I saw it and I was like, JJ Redick, you know, he's gonna say, which what he said was, he was just like, Kendrick Perkins, like what Kendrick Perkins said was bullshit.
Yeah.
And it's like, why is it just because you think Joel Embiid should be in the MVP talk, which he should, and because you see the Joker who's leading in the MVP, does not mean you got to take it into a race counter of, oh yeah, this is why, because you're trying to make your opinion right by gaslighting everybody else's opinion who wants the Joker. You're trying to sway the votes and the odd makers, and I'm glad you got caught out on your bullshit, because that was bullshit.
Yeah.
And when you try to make everything a race thing, eventually people are going to be like, okay, you know what? That's just because anybody who watches the Joker play is a fantastic basketball player.
Yeah.
Should he be 2 for 2, maybe a third? Debatable. But it's not because of race.
It's not at all.
He's not even from America.
Bro, I think, what is it? There's been 3 white people that have won the MVP since we've been alive or whatever. It's the one I listed: Nowitzki, Steve Nash, and Joker. And so the thing that JJ Redick goes into, is he basically says, you want to talk about advanced stats? Here, I'll give you some. You know, like Magic Johnson was the MVP this year and this year and this year of like the 80s. I don't remember how many it was, but he wasn't the top 10 scorer in any of those. But he was the most valuable. Then Michael Jordan comes along, you know, he's there. That's kind of what we derived the award from, is what JJ Redick was saying. Steve Nash, or Dirk Nowitzki, when he won his MVP, they had the best record in the NBA at like 67 wins, I believe is what it was. And he wasn't top 10 in scoring, but he had the most valuable team and he had the most valuable presence. But you could have argued in the year that Steve Nash won that, you know, Tim Duncan could have won the award. And that's one of the points he made. It's like Steve Nash was a weird one because he wasn't the first or the second or the third best team, but he wasn't top 10 in scoring. But he might have been instrumental with the role players that he had in his team at the time. But you could have given it to like Tim Duncan or someone like that, because the Detroit Pistons were good at that time. And then you get to now, and it's like, no, like, listen, Joker is really good, but you could debate like Giannis could win it, Joel Embiid could win it, but all those other years, it was not a white person, and they're not even from America. I know it's the color, they want to make it about the color of their skin, but
Steve Nash and Dirk Nowitzki are also not from America.
Yeah.
Steve Nash is from Canada, and Dirk Nowitzki is from Germany. And it's obviously, and I saw a point on TikTok, which I like the point because I'd be saying this too. MVP is about what you do, but also what your team does as a whole. Because, if you're the 1 seed, I guarantee that's why the only reason why Jason Tatum has not been ahead in the MVP voting, even though he's had a fantastic year, is because his team is actually loaded. He has Jaylen Brown, Marcus Smart, Defensive Player of the Year. He has all these guys. And then these other, like Joker has Jamal Murray, who he's a good point guard. He hasn't been an all-star yet. Michael Porter Jr. is strictly buckets. He's a good player. But if you watch it, like, the reason why the Nuggets are even the 1st seed is because of him. Like, if he doesn't play, the team looks different. But a team like when Jason Tatum doesn't play, like, they can get away with it.
Yeah.
They don't necessarily. Yeah. He puts them over the top. But without him, they would still be a playoff team. And that's with Giannis. He's one of those players. He's one of my favorite players as well. If he doesn't play, like, that team is screwed. They might make the playoffs, but if they're making the playoffs, it's like bottom of the East. That's because the East is just trash. East is not a good conference. But yeah, when he tries to make it like a race thing, it's like I'm glad he's losing. I'm glad he's losing credibility for this because. And then when he's talking shit about JJ Redick, he's like, "Yeah, you like to drink on the rocks. I like to drink Hennessy. They both gonna get you drunk." He's like, "I got something for your Elvis Presley looking ass." Like, imagine if JJ Redick went up there and said, "You look like this." Boom.
Boom, gone.
First of all, he's off first take.
You want to talk about privilege?
The only place that would sign him after he said that to Kendrick Perkins is Fox News. That is the only group of people who would sign him.
Yeah.
And
besides
that,
he could go work for. I would bet. Yeah, that or Outkick with Clay Travis is about the only two.
I know he enjoys basketball a lot. That's why he likes going on First Take. And he also likes – I think he's more in it because he gets to commentate the games, being a broadcaster. But he doesn't need that. His podcast would do just fine. He's awesome to listen to and all that. And finally someone just calls out. It took like 5 years to finally call someone out on that BS race thing.
And the first one to do it was Will Kane. The first,
They did not, Watching Will Kane, you're like, he's not less than ESPN. He does not fit in.
It was obvious. And it wasn't like because I was a fan of what he had to say. It was just like somebody tried to say something, and it was off his own chest, and it gone. Kicked the curb.
Conservative Cowboys fan.
Yeah,
you're not
lasting.
You're not lasting at ESPN. And it's crazy that, like.
But I like how JJ's wasn't derived from anything. It was just like the facts. It was purely the facts. He didn't say how he felt. Nothing. It was just like, this is the way it is. It's always been this way, and this is how we're going to continue to do it. Just laid it all out there. So, props to JJ Redick.
Well, speaking of NBA,
do
you know who Sean Kemp is?
I've heard his name.
Yeah, he played on the Seattle Supersonics in the 90s. He was
passed away?
He was like, no, actually worse than that. Well, not worse than that. I don't know. Ex-NBA star Sean Kemp booked on felony drive-by shooting charge.
What is this, Gridiron Gang?
I don't know. I'm glad you finally watched that movie. It's a good movie.
It's a good movie. Yeah. The
Rock.
Yeah,
I'm glad that people are not letting Kendrick Perkins slide with his comments. I don't know if that's always going to happen, but kind of might wake up some people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm glad it went a certain direction, not the other.
People have been getting away. And it's not even just people of color saying that. Even like the virtual signalers of, white people, like they be doing it too. Like they try to make everything like a race thing. Like
Max Kellerman.
Obviously there's things that are racist and that, but just because something does not fit your agenda, you do not need to pull out the race card. It's like, oh my God, like seriously, like
It makes everybody do that exactly. You're watching.
it makes people just makes people uncomfortable because once you start bringing once you say something is because of race, people don't even want to comment on it anymore because
we're basically putting this cage like a box and we can't get
well,
out.
you put the idea in people's head that it is a race thing, and then if you comment on it, then you get bashed for it, and I just hate putting that agenda in people's head when that agenda does not need to. That is not the agenda for a lot of things, and yeah. So once they did that, and finally someone stood up, and I even see people of color also just being like, yeah, Kendrick, you were out of line for that. Just like if someone was white too and they said something, we'd be like, what the hell? Like, why are you saying that? Like, you're wrong. Like we talk about how wrong everybody, like all sorts of people are wrong. It has nothing to do with race. It's just like, dude, you're wrong. And, yeah.
Good points. Well, I think that concludes our podcast episode. We have another episode coming out next week. We're going to try and get back on our normal schedule as quick as we can. We know we said Monday and Friday. We might switch those days around and go, Wednesday and Sunday or some different path. But we want to get a consistent pattern for you guys, and we're always looking to improve. So the ADP segment, thought that was a pretty good format. I actually enjoyed it. I like having like a pool of things. We tried a little thing. Go look on YouTube Live. We tried a over under for bites on a Jersey Mike sub, which we thought was pretty funny. We'll see if we can do something similar to those in the future. But yeah, we got a new episode coming out next week. I'll be out of commission this weekend, so I'm glad we were able to do it midweek. I've got a bachelor party to attend. So, all right, this has been Track 10, 10th episode of the Rook the Kid podcast. Hunter, it's been an honor.
Always an honor, brother.
We'll see you all on the flip. Thanks for tuning in. I know one person tuned in for like half a second and then left, but shout out to whoever that was.